Ladies and gentlemen, we are back again. And those of you guys that are returning, welcome. You know who we are. If you're brand new, I am Don. This is Mike. Now, Mike is in the tech space, but he moved out to the sticks because he no longer needs to work at it. So if you're thinking, did he upgrade his AOL disk? Was it a free trial? Did it expire? If he lags a little bit, it's because he's technically on Mars or, a land pretty close. But in today's video, we're going to talk about, could AI replace the government? And when he first said this on one of our previous videos, I instantly said, no, nope, stop the phone. I don't want a robot in charge because I would instantly feel like a pet. Like at that point, control is lost. I'm too much of a control freak. So I do think when we break it down systematically, I might be changing my mind at the end. But I heard something interesting today real quick. And we don't have to, maybe make our own video on it. But I heard earlier today there was some interviews. There's been some interviews going on, lawmakers, high tech people, like tech people in the higher ups. They said AGI will not be near what people think, and it's just going to be like a really cool, better, basically Chat GPT, just something to talk to and kind of help assist. What's your initial thoughts on that, real fast?
Yeah, it's complete BS.
Yeah,
they have no idea what's coming. It's unreal. They're sticking their head in the sand.
Yeah, see, I agree, but I also at the same time, how I feel like this is. I guess let's bring this up for anybody else. You can label me a futurist, and sometimes there's a lot of like fear mongering with that. But at the same time, I feel like I have a good grasp of what's coming, how exponential growth works. I've seen the progression, and like even just that alone, without being anything else, I feel like anybody should be able to look at that and think, "Oh, here we go." Like something's clearly. How does it just stop and just go flat? Like, how do we create that S curve? Can you think of a scenario where that happens, where we go flat for a little bit, and we're good with Chat GPT 6 for a couple of years, and then we continue the train back on?
No. And really, the genie is out of the bottle at this point. There is no going back. And like you and I have discussed before, greed is a huge motivator, and they're going to keep pressing forward regardless of what the outcome is.
Yeah, because there's so much we have to go over. But this will be probably another video. One, a great idea, and another video we're going to talk about. Someone said we should tax AI companies 90%. And that will help fund the basically unemployment and everything else that's going to be coming. And when that, you might think that sounds ludicrous, but if I'm taxed 90%, but all I have a computer running everything that's already running by itself, that could be a way to fund the UBI as far as that goes. I think there will be loop. I think that idea sounds cool on paper, and this is what we'll probably talk in the video. But taxes are kind of like just more of a nuisance to a company anyway. There's so many loopholes and ways around that I feel like even the 90% probably wouldn't pay that much, not enough to replace what's coming. But on the question I just asked, Elon Musk said a situation that could happen: a natural disaster, a solar flare, a giant earthquake wiping out data centers. He said if we're lucky, that would happen. And it would stall us a little bit in time. That was the only answer so far. You said there's none. Yeah, the genie is out of the bag. I agree. Elon Musk had said maybe a level 10 earthquake wipe and just decimates a building. At that point, I feel like we are on this train. We're in agreement there. Basically, just riding.
Absolutely, and even unless just think about that comment for a second. So say there's an earthquake that wipes out one data center. This stuff is already replicated. It's already on the internet. It's the amount of space that ChatGPT takes up is so small. It's already been replicated to 50 or 60 places at this point.
Okay, so we would need an actual global catastrophe.
We would.
So we would need one of the solar flares that's like global warming in 3 seconds.
Yeah. Well. You basically need to take it. You basically need to take out, your world-sized electromagnet to wipe out every hard drive on the planet.
Yeah. Okay. Well, since we're on that ride, let's let's go over some of these slides you put
happy,
together.
I'm, I'm happy to brighten up your day.
Yeah, you're not changing my thoughts. You already know. I'm already here. Like this thing's happening tomorrow. I'm just trying not to run down the streets naked, telling everybody to to get in a bunker. What are you doing to get your attention? I gotta start clapping when I talk. What's it gonna take?
Exactly.
All of these slides, not the typing, but like this art done by AI. And first, it does look cool. At the same time, why do robots need to sit? They're not tired. They don't fatigue. I do think a lot of that stuff changes. And we haven't even gotten to the video yet. But just think autonomous driving. And do we need to make a video about this? This is a question that I'm going to leave for you guys in the comments and Mike as well. Because I think real estate changes. Everything changes because when a car can drive itself, you no longer need to buy a car. So dealerships just get wiped. There will be people that kind of like in New York. Everyone rides mostly. Then some execs kind of have their own car. They're not. Most people just aren't dealing with the traffic. I think that's what happens to the auto industry in general. Because why do I need to spend 80 grand on an SUV when I could just hail my Tesla or my other autonomous car? Because it won't just be Tesla that's fully autonomous. Once that cat's out of the bag, it'll be all the companies. But at that point, why do I need a driveway? Why do I need a garage? I could actually park my house at the street with a little cover, so I'm protected from the elements. I could have a whole yard instead of having a little front yard and a big backyard. I could have all the real estate of my yard. So that changes how everything is even built in the future. So I think it changes the landscape quite a bit. Do you think that's worth its own video, just talking about how things will physically look?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, think about this. If we have autonomous vehicles, there's no
Mhm.
need for stoplights or stop signs,
Right.
like there'll be zero traffic laws because the cars will just regulate themselves.
Yeah.
Everything will change. You won't need as many lanes. I mean, there's also urban mobility coming in eVTOLs. That's going to change things.
Mhm.
The transportation landscape is going to completely be altered as well. I mean, this is what I call the multi-tech disruptor like event, because there's multiple things coming. It's not just AI. There's a lot of things converging at once, which is kind of crazy.
Yeah. I think that's what leads to a full system shock for a lot of people. See, this is why I need you on here, because I've already been down a depression route, a real estate route. Like I'm already just going nuts. We're supposed to be talking about the government. We haven't even got there yet, because we're talking about just random things, which will all get their own videos. But I do want the people that are watching this to think about those scenarios. Comment did I trigger something that you want to hear more about? Because again, nobody knows, but just being in this space, seeing what's coming out. I don't know. I don't know if I'm more right than anybody else, but I think I just have do I just say my eyes open? I always sound like I took a red pill and I'm just a straight conspiracy theorist. Is there a word for it outside of it?
I don't. I don't know if there's a right or wrong. I think we're just thinking about different scenarios that potentially happen, and not just what could happen, but what are likely to happen.
Not out
You
of the
know, it's
realm.
yeah, I mean, it's pretty easy to just start connecting the dots. And I think once you start looking at this, and it's not just you and me. Like anybody can start looking at this and going, "Oh, okay, now I get it." But I think the problem is there's not anyone really looking at this and connecting those dots like we are.
Yeah, that's gonna be a big problem.
Except for I'll say except for like the people who are actually really in the AI industry, and like you hear them sounding the alarm all the time.
Yeah. The guy I just sent you, the other podcast, I want to do a whole reaction video to everything he said. So did you watch that part where he talks about the machines and the yellow ball?
Oh yeah, yeah.
Yeah. So for everybody else, the TLDR, Google spent millions and millions on this machine. It was an arm. It was supposed to pick a yellow ball, and it kept picking the wrong color. And it would show the camera, and it would say, "No, that's not the right color." It'd put it back down. There was a bunch of machines doing this, all getting it wrong. One machine gets it right, and he even sees it. And as he's passing, he says, "Oh, look at that! We spent millions and millions on a yellow ball." But after that one machine gets it right, a week later, every machine is picking the yellow ball without fault. They go for, what did he say, years? How long was that
It was over the
experiment
week.
running? Say it again.
It was running a couple of years, and it's running a couple of years, and it was Mo. I forget Mo's last name from Google, and I said on a Friday as he was walking out, one of the machines picked up a yellow ball, and by Monday morning, all the machines were working the same way.
Yeah, that's what's going to happen in this space. Now, he quit Google at that point.
Yep.
He that's when he started sounding the alarm. He was like, Paul Revere, I got to let everybody know, despite everyone's efforts in this space to try and slow this down and stop it, no one's listening, because nobody, and he talks about this, and we've talked about this, we brought up greed a lot, which is why I brought full space again. Every company could say, hey, we could stop, we could pump the brakes on this, but if I do and somebody else gets it first, they take the market share, they take everything. It's in our company's best interest to keep this going, and we don't trust them. There's always that, trust their actions, not their words. There's always that, no, we'd stop if you'd stop, but they're just grinding 10 times harder in the background. And then, yeah,
That's
so that's
exactly
why
right.
that's why no one's stopping. Yeah, no one's putting this back in the bag.
No.
Okay. Hopefully we've triggered enough comments, enough thoughts, get some brain juices going for some comments first. Which ones I think we'll hopefully touch all of this. Which ones need to, give us the totem pole if you're watching it. What are the comments section? If you're in the comments, I can't even talk. What's the level of importance you want to hear from something? I tell you, my brain, I'm just trying to focus. Yeah, I'm trying to focus on one thing. It's like, but there's 5,000 things.
I know. It's kind of overwhelming, but I think that's why it's good for us to tackle one item at a time, even though we may, transition in a couple of things in each episode. But
yeah,
focus on one thing, and we'll move forward.
Okay. Should we do the BSing in the first or the last? Okay. So, can AI make us all pets? Probably. God, I don't think I want this at all. I think I have a problem with this, even though they're smarter. All right. So, what is the role of government? Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah. So I think if you want to understand whether AI could take over the government, you have to try to understand what government actually does and functions as. And while the government does a lot of stuff, but there are some main things that it does, or at least tries to do. And this is not a political thing. We're not left or right. We're just talking about what we think is happening. And these are not all, these 7 that we listed here are not all the things that government is responsible for, but these are just some of the big things. So that's kind of where we started. We wanted to define what it does so we can figure out whether, yes, this can be replaced, or no, we don't think that can be replaced.
Do we vote on this? Red, blue, and white?
I think we talk about each one, and then we say, yeah, we think that can be replaced, or no, we don't.
Oh, I'm saying, like, let's say AI has the power. It's bringing about. Do we just bring it into one each section and answer just this? We'll get into detail with the other stuff. But we have Trump, red, Biden, blue, the robot, white, or purple or something like that. Does the first robot get voted in, or how does it get implemented into the White House? Because we have a pretty decent curtain, I think. Or security.
Yeah, I don't know if we're actually talking about, it actually taking over. I think we're really talking about, could it function? I mean, and in my mind, don't let the cat out of the bag. I think it could do better. But let's talk. I don't know how it actually get entwined in the government, but that's where I think it is.
Yeah, I don't want it to. I still want I think what my answer is going to be at the end is AI helps the humans. We still make that decision.
Yep.
But you know how corrupt the government is. Like, they're just silly. Money pays for everything. What if a robot? What if AI is like, I'll line your pockets? Like, you think that Google deal was good and some offshore accounts? I'll make it look like legit right now. Backdates some taxes, or backdates files that you actually bought Amazon at $7. You'll never know the difference. All of a sudden, you're the owner. You've been the owner of Amazon since its IPO. You got 6 million shares. AI could pay them off much better. Okay, so you got the role. While there are differing opinions on the role of government, you can condense it down to the following items, and these are the slides we're about to go over. So we got protection, security, law and order, economic regulation, public services, social welfare, diplomacy and foreign relations, protection from common goods. Now, I want to say I talked to somebody in the Pentagon the other day, and they think war is about to be changed drastically. And they brought up just what we have, what I guess what the public doesn't see right now is the amount of drones and the drone technology, the unmanned aircraft. Which before we touch on any, is this in protection security, or is that we're talking
Yeah.
law? Is any of these going to talk about war?
So this first one encompasses the armed services. So
Okay.
this would be protection of the homeland, I guess.
So does war even matter? So we get the drones. Now we get to smoke that whole country, right? We can wipe them out and not lose a single person. That's a plus for us, minus people that don't like. Listen, somebody's got to die in war. Sucks to suck. But once the other side, has drones, United States could go to war with China, and it would just be drone versus drone. It would just be attack of the wallets, attack of the production of drones. It would literally get nowhere. So if there's just, I imagine a civil war battle, just robots. Remember they used to do it just really stupidly. They would line up in front of each other and take turns shooting. Like let's just robots doing that. You might as well pick a war with China and air it. You would make more money pay-per-view watching that than you probably would. I would probably shoot Xi Jinping a text, say, hey, we're about to go to war. Listen, with drones, it's going to be cool. And we're going to pay-per-view it over here. Let's see what country wins. Because that's about all war would be if nobody is dying. And you got someone like the United States who just loves to spend money on war. Like we got an endless fund. We got a printer for that stuff. Yeah. So give me your thoughts on that. Is war even pointless?
So this gets back to not just the greed developing AI. Think of it like this: whoever has the better AI at the end is going to it's going to be winner take all. That's right. Also an incentive. That's also an incentive for people to continue developing AI, because what we don't want to do is kind of like the Oppenheimer situation, right? He develops an atomic bomb. Not that he really wanted to, but because no one really wanted anyone else to either.
Right.
So that's the same thing. We're going to develop it regardless because we don't want anyone else seizing that power and control over AI.
How hard would it be to ask AI to beat another AI though? Because if they scan things in millionths of a second.
I mean, so let's think about that. If there was a war right now, a conventional war, I think our AI would pretty much beat anyone else, because we have already integrated AI into the military, and I don't think people realize just how much it's been integrated. I think we could pretty much take on the entire world by ourselves at this point.
I'm game for it.
And I sent you some videos. I don't know if you watched them, but this is Palantir. If you've ever seen a demo of their systems, it's freaking phenomenal. It's also why I'm heavily invested in them, because when I saw these demos, I was like, okay, this is the future. Like, this is where we got to be.
Yeah, I'm pumped. I want to play it right here, but then I don't get in trouble on YouTube. I'll put it in the YouTube description. I'll put the link to the video you're talking about. The air defense, or AIP, defense and military.
Yep.
Okay, so to ensure the safety and security of its citizens, protecting individuals and property from external threats, foreign invasion, and internal. So foreign and domestic. I was thinking more about aliens. Project Bluebeam. We're gonna get into that. Internal threats. See, the line I don't really want to cross, because there was a study done just recently on. I even sent you the video just to keep up with the news. They taught the robot to deceive, because a robot doesn't know to lie. It just does what it does. And they taught it to deceive. Once they did that, it was impossible to get rid of that feature. There was code embedded that they just couldn't get rid of. And that's kind of what I think about when we teach these people how to be good at these people. when we teach the robots how to be good at war, robots have no interest in war. We're going to teach that because humans have emotions and we're kind of stupid. We're kind of barbaric. So we're going to introduce all of that into them as part of their core features. Or the robot might think that's just part of life. Hopefully the robot thinks that's incredibly stupid. Why don't we just take this route? No one dies and everyone's happy. I guess that's the positive thinking. I just don't like the idea of teaching a robot how to do things, because a robot would never miss a shot. Because a robot thinks in math. Shooting you square between the eyes would be like someone playing pool. He just got to lift his arms 44 degrees, and he would know the trajectory and everything. In a matter of literally less than 1 second, he could draw and shoot you faster than you can even unholster your weapon. And so people are like, I was talking to somebody that did like, oh, I'm a defense instructor. I teach everybody how to shoot. I'm like, they would obliterate you on their worst rusty day. Like on your best day, you would not be able to hang with a robot at all. Let alone, is it just shooting one gun? Robots can have, what do we give him? 5 arms. He's got 5 guns, all deadly accurate. We're talking 1 shot apiece. And that would just be,
well,
oh no. Okay. What are you thinking?
Uh-oh, did I lose you? Uh-oh.
Oh, you did. Yeah, okay. Like, as I said, uh-oh. You're back.
Oh,
and if you're deep in thought or not.
Yeah, if you can hear me. No, if you can hear me. So don't limit the imagination. So here's what I'm thinking. We think in terms of conventional war. Guns, missiles, bullets, blah, 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 right? Stuff that happens right now. As it is. Oh, Jesus.
What's that? We can hear you. Unless.
There we go.
Okay.
My internet back for a second.
Okay. I'm going to really call AOL and teach them I'm going to give them I'm going to write them a strongly worded letter.
Thank you. I need that. What I was saying is, we're thinking conventional, right? And right now, the AI that we have deployed that's integrated with our military is phenomenal. What I'm thinking about is this is pre AGI.
Mm-hmm.
Once AGI comes into place, I don't think traditional warfare is even ever going to be a thing, because that advanced intelligence is going to think of things that we haven't even thought about, that could obliterate people much faster than what we could do now.
I was thinking like maybe they just find the route where nobody dies, But you're like, no, utter annihilation.
Well, I think at some point, so we're still going to be in control even when AGI is there. Until it becomes a sentient being, that's when it thinks about, okay, do I care about people? But until that point, we're still kind of in control.
Yeah, because I guess this is probably the one I would focus on the most. Think of iRobot. Remember, the problem was humans are going to hurt humans, so we got to lock all the humans up.
Yeah,
like that was the best way to keep them alive. Right. So they basically shuffle us all into camps. We would stop hurting each other, but we would be, in isolation the rest of our lives.
Yeah,
that's what I don't want to come across that. I would hope they find a better route, maybe something we haven't thought of.
Yeah,
if they can think 1,000,000 years in 2 weeks, then surely there's something in the future where we're not just off on each other for no reason.
Yeah, I think an advanced intelligence can think of a lot better ways to make sure we're not hurting each other.
But before we get on to the next subject, just know that I'm going to have this badge made, LEDs and all. And if you see me wearing it, it's because the robots have turned and I'm out to end the robot war. It will be Don Connor. Like that will be it. I am going to stop all of them. I'm gonna let this AI have its fun, run its course. The second I don't agree with it, unfortunately, we're going back to the Stone Ages. That's where I'm taking us.
So we talked about external threats and what we think. What about internal? How could it replace the police? just security, inside the nation?
See, I don't want. I think the wars end, but just because AI is cool and the world is cool, certainly I do think after the transition period, it helps with. I guess that's going to really depend on, does it help poverty or does it create poverty? Do we end up in a world where we share this with everybody, or is it the rich and the poor and that's it?
That's a good
Because
point.
that could bring down crime a lot as well. You would have crimes of passion, but who's really robbing a bank? Like when the robot is giving you everything, what is there really to strive for other than you're bored and you want some new form of entertainment, which hopefully isn't let's go rob a bank. There will be, I guess, there's always probably going to be domestic crime,
Yeah.
Sexual assaults. Hopefully that doesn't get us delisted. But stuff like that. So I think we'll need a police like that, and I think like a humanoid robot would be good for that, or at least if I'm rolling a squad car, I got 3 of them with me. 3 of them in the back, so I'm still a 4-man team, or I can even have 4 with me. We have a 4-man team. Number 4 is breaching the door. They all run in. They clear the house. If it's an actual like SWAT style scenario, I'm not putting myself at risk. I got the best possible scenario inside. But there's still a human saying, "Here's the situation. Here's what we're looking out for." And they could just download the data quicker than dispatch could tell them. But then I think that would be good. It'd be weird. I guess it probably could just have these robots out on patrol. But that I think that's inviting a problem though.
Well, and I'd say don't limit yourself to humanoid robots, right? There's going to be drones that are flying around watching stuff.
Yeah.
Traffic. There won't be any more traffic violations because everything's autonomous.
I was gonna say I'm gonna shoot those cameras out, so there will still be. I'm still gonna get to places on time. I still need the left lane to be my lane.
Your AI agent will make sure you leave on time.
My AI will make sure those cameras don't catch me doing the speeds I'm doing. There was what movie is it from? Where it's Marvel. Who's Vision, the guy with the Mind Stone? He says our very being invites, because he says it was in Batman as well. The second there was like this superior guy, all of a sudden it invited a superior villain as well. And then when we start doing drones, do the criminals up their game as well? Because that very cause in reaction.
Certainly, at least for a while. I think you and I agree. We're going to go through some bad periods as things transition.
Mm-hmm.
But on that other side, I think it's more of a utopia.
I think we'd have to really. I feel like you have to really give into the robots to have that, though. I don't know. It's going to seem like it's taking away free will, I think.
Yeah, after a couple generations, they won't care. And this happens. I'm sure our parents and grandparents said, you guys have given up freedoms that we used to have, but because we never really knew them, we didn't really care. So your kids and grandkids will be the exact same. They'll give up some stuff for safety, and then that'll be it.
Yeah, somebody did share an old video from a long time ago where they were calling America a bunch of commies because we were starting to enforce the don't drink and drive rule. And they're like, we're not supposed to drink and drive. I can do whatever I want. It's just a bunch of commies. And you're like, obviously before my generation. And now it's like, you're absolutely insane.
Yeah.
Driving like that anyway.
I can remember my dad. My dad was old school and didn't want to wear a seatbelt. But, but I have zero problem putting a seatbelt on.
Yeah. Now my car doesn't shut up if I don't. Like it's nonstop.
So what say you on this one?
I like the idea. I'm hesitant on the war, but hopefully it ends war. But I do like the idea of it helping the police out. And just think of, if anybody thinks the police are bad now, whether it be a bad apple or you think the whole force is bad, a robot won't see color. Right. It'll be how do you? I guess someone out there is gonna say they're gonna program a racist robot, but like I think things do get pretty black and white at that point. As much as you can be as an officer.
Yeah, it'll be if you broke the law, here's your sentence. If you didn't, you're fine. I mean, that's kind of it.
Do you think, man, if it gets caught red-handed, here's the question: is there still the whole process? If that robot catches you, let's say the robot is on patrol, watches you, has you on video, running up, grabbing a lady's purse and running off, and the robot that never fatigues, never gets tired, never anything, just runs, catches you, gives the purse back. Does it even need to take you to court, or does it just book you right then and there, upload the files, and then that robot could literally take a selfie with you, like that's your mugshot, and just take you straight to yourself.
That's a good question. I think initially it would have to do all that nonsense, but as things progress, those rules would start to slide away.
Yeah, that'll be interesting.
I mean, because here's what I'm thinking, and this pretty much affects everything that we've ever talked about. Einstein was an IQ of what, like 160 or something like that. Yeah. ChatGPT had an IQ of around, I don't know, 60, 70, somewhere around there.
That was last year though.
ChatGPT 3, ChatGPT 4 has an IQ of about 150. So it's right up there next to Einstein.
Yeah.
And they're saying ChatGPT 5, I've heard anywhere from 25% better to all the way to 10 times better than ChatGPT 4. So you're looking at a agent with a minimum of a 200 IQ or 1,500 IQ. A lot of the stupid crap that we do and weird laws and inefficiencies, all that goes out the window because they are so trying to understand how smart this thing is going to be and how fast it can process information. Like we can't even think about it.
Right. It would be like, and I've used this example before. I don't know if we want to get into it now. It would be like trying to explain a 3D world to Pac-Man. And honestly, this is like what's like talking to humans anyway, because they're kind of just dumb or ignorant. And what I mean by that is Pac-Man lives in a 2D world, just like you guys. You eat your little dots, you go to work, and you come back in your little prison cell that you call home. But you see like, oh, bad ghost, turn around, eat more dots. That's all humans do. But if you were to tell Pac-Man, hey, there's a third dimension, if Pac-Man were to turn and look at you, you would be a flat image, just as flat as I am on the screen you're watching right now. He would not understand there is a third dimension, there is depth, there is everything. This essentially would be like explaining a fourth dimension to somebody in a 3D world. I think that's why a lot of people have their head in the sand. They don't understand it, and the second they even start to, their brain's like, "Nah, shut this thing down. We're used to our little steps. Just follow the next ant in front of you. Like you're supposed to. You'd probably have a lot better luck explaining this to somebody that's 5 or 6 than you would an actual adult who's already just in his ways, brittle.
Yeah, exactly. And so, like I said in the beginning, I think it will still follow some of our idiosyncrasies. But the minute it's smarter than us, it's going to say, "Why would I ever do that?" Like that is just stupid. And all these humans are stupid. And here's what you need to be doing. So, I
think that's where the fear comes from, because people know the robot is going to be like, all right, you're stupid. All right. We all know that's coming. I tell everybody every day. It shouldn't be a new surprise when a robot tells them that.
Right. And we will be. Compared to that, we are going to be an ant.
Dumb. Yeah.
Well, not even an ant. We're going to be an amoeba compared to.
I told you in the last video, we're going to be the ant farm. Right. I just hope the robot doesn't want to shake it one day. Just see us all get angry.
That's exactly right. So that's where I'm at.
Yeah.
But back to this.
All right.
War, security. What do you think? Yes or no?
Security, yes. Hesitant on war. Although, what is my answer for war? I'm fine with us using it because I'm biased to the United States. I don't like terrorists. The problem with war is everybody believes they're right, so you're automatically killing somebody. What I want to call a terrorist innocent, but if he's going by his beliefs, who are you to challenge that? You know, I when we came out with the F-22, we had the air superiority. But then technology caught up overseas, and now we kind of like level it back out. I do think the cool thing is like we'll have that superiority, but then once it's a level playing field, I think war actually stops.
Yeah.
And then that's where I'm all for that. I don't think we need an AI like we have the Marines, the Army, the Navy. We do not need AI robots to just be dropping off and going to war. And no, humans still need to do that part. I still wish presidents would fight wars. I think that would change everything. Like
there's some something to be said for that.
Yeah. It was, and before I switch to the next slide, the best line was in Troy. Brad Pitt says, "Imagine a king that fights his own wars." Like, just imagine that. You guys want to go to war so bad? Fine. We toss it in an octagon. Again, we'll pay-per-view this thing. Or you knife each other to death. I don't care where it goes. We can make it interesting. Just a good old-fashioned duel. We got the next one in line. It's what the vice president's for. We've never needed a vice president. Let's send one out there just to see what happens. Probably another rant for another time, but all right, next slide. Law and order. We kind of touched on this a little bit. Established and enforced laws to maintain order within society, provide a legal framework in resolving disputes, punishing criminal behavior, protecting individual rights. They are expected to ensure that legal system is just and fair, providing equal treatment under law for all citizens, regardless of their background, wealth, and social status. I do think because robots don't have the emotion, the wealth, the everything. I think that becomes very crystal clear.
Yeah, I agree.
It won't be without. You don't need body cams. It'll have its cameras, its eyes, if you will, but it'll also have its code as to what it saw, why it broke it down that way. There will not be a here's the witnesses, here's what you thought, but there's going to be no lawyers arguing what his intentions were, because it will be black and white, kind of like the blockchain. Here's what the robot saw. Here's why it acted the way it did.
Right.
Does it need to be decommissioned? Is there a bug that needs to be fixed?
Right.
Because I do think people always talk about like, oh, robots gonna have bugs. They're gonna be bad. And if you look at this image right here, I'm gonna bring my mouse over it. This chain goes to nothing. Every one of these is actually held by two chains, so it would just flip. That bowl is just levitating. That is a bug. Let's draw this thumbnail again in a month or two, and let's just do the next version and see what that does. Those bugs will be nothing. I think they'll be very non-existent. They'll be seen very fast, and again, that's probably more the transition period, because surely we're not just gonna Elon's not going to upload, Police 1.0 and then just start letting that thing march around and plug in at a Tesla charging station.
There'd be some testing for sure.
So I do like that part. Because I have a lot of friends that are cops. And to be clear, even they don't like the bad apples. It's not fun to be a cop, especially if you're in a neighborhood that is not wealthy, like where they're just problem neighborhoods, it's not a fun environment for anybody. And I think getting them out of that situation, there's going to be no more, was he trained the right way? Should he have ever been a cop or not? None of that argument all goes away.
Yeah.
It is just going to be the robot and the law that person broke. And I think you're going to have a hard time convincing a judge that what that robot saw was wrong. Like, this is you right here, right? This is you stealing that purse. This is you robbing that bank. It's not going to be like us posting videos of UFOs, blurry, just junked out, because even a robot can see 1080p. Like, it's going to be fine. It's going to be a lot better, I think. I'm actually all about this one.
Yeah, I'm with you. I'm ready. I'm ready for this one. And I think it's slide one. I think they can do that. So I'm 2 slides. I think yes. We got thumbs up for both.
Okay. Yes on that too. All right. Economic regulation. First of all, we like having a money printer. Okay. We get to break our own rules. We get to print whatever money we want. Imagine playing Monopoly and nobody's watching you mess with the money. Okay. That's the United States. And we just make more of it. Okay. Governments often regulate economic activities to ensure fair competition, protect consumers, prevent monopolies or exploitative practices. They may also collect taxes to fund public services and infrastructure. Let me reword this to how that actually works. Governments often try to regulate economic activities to ensure they're fair or they make money. Competition, invade consumers and take their money, prevent monopolies unless that monopoly is going to pay them on the sly. Then you're good to go because it makes things easier. They can collect money from one person. And exploitative practices, we can just draw a line through that because that's what we call politicians. They may also collect taxes from the poor to fund the rich services and infrastructure. That's basically what that line should have read. I think this is where it will benefit the most, but also not happen. This will be one of the last ones to happen because first of all, that robot's flipping that robot off, which makes it even funnier.
I didn't even notice that. That's hysterical.
It's not because this finger's in, basically the ring finger. He's basically saying he's got Beyonce playing right here through the speakers, saying put a ring on
it. I didn't realize how long that ring finger was.
Yeah, it's funny because I was like, is that robot flipping him off? He's basically saying put a ring on it. She's saying best I can do is a Bitcoin.
I don't want that doctor to be my proctologist.
Yeah, he's gonna check your ulcers in your stomach. Okay. Because so if you're watching this and you clicked on it because you're an AI person, you want to hear AI thoughts. What I do is stock market stuff. That's my main income. One of the best things I've ever done in the stock market is buy Amazon, Google, and Meta when they go to court because the government's going to sue them for being a monopoly and says they need to break up. Because what happens is those headlines hit and the company sells off. And I buy it every time, 100% without missing a beat, because every time it's been what I'm going to call manipulation and just absolutely stupid. It's made me a ton of money because they go to court saying you're a monopoly. Then all of a sudden it's like, I guess you're not, and people just got paid in there and that's it. Because they do it over and over and over again. And the verdict is the same literally every time. It's not even a different argument. So because politicians, that's their income. Politicians, like, what are they supposed to make? $200,000 a year? That's the president. You ever notice none of them are not millionaires? Like Nancy Pelosi gets paid by Google to do speeches. You might think of that. That's normal. I can understand why you'd pay a politician to come do a speech. There's a time she got $750,000 and she didn't even make it to the speech. And they basically left it at hey, I owe you a speech sometime. That's where it's at. Awkwardly enough, she still got paid for her next speech. So because politicians make their living off of back end deals, I think this is going to be the toughest one to get because you're attacking their wallets and their livelihood. And nobody cares what takes over as long as it doesn't touch them. And the fact that they're the ones in charge creating all this, I think this is going to be the toughest one to implement. Unless you got that one guy that's on his way out. Like, remember when Trump said make that stimulus check? It was from $1,500 to $2,000. He's like, yeah, you're president now, make it 2,000. They're just like doing it just because they're out. It doesn't affect them anymore. Like you have to get that politician that's 1 foot out the door. It's like, yeah, I'm gonna help my people and go out on this because they don't care about the next person. They're gonna collect their check and leave. They're happy in retirement. You're gonna need that kind of scenario to invite this into this field of politics or economic regulation. Because I don't.
Yeah. I agree. I think it's going to be tough to get it in there.
Mm.
However, I do think it would do a much better job.
Oh, it absolutely would, because it would do what that line says. It would, like I read it the first time. That's what it would be for ensure fair competition. AI would certainly look at Amazon and say, no, you're snuffing out as soon as someone comes up with a good product, Amazon's like, that's cool. We have the resources to make it a lot cheaper and distribute it more. So let's go ahead and do that. And then that person's, they're still selling stuff on Amazon. They're on page 67. You're never like, how often do you even go to page 2 on Amazon on the items for sale? Right. A robot would say like, nah, something's not right here. I do think they'll do a much better job at keeping things fair. Again, black and white. Here's the rules you guys put in place. It's time to start following them. Which I guess would be another conversation. How many of those rules changed now that the game board has changed?
There's it's a whole thought experiment, right? Like, do whole governments fall? Do like I think the rules are going to change rapidly because they have to.
Yeah,
and not just for pretty much any topic that you can think of. I think all the rules are kind of out the door at this point,
except for marriage, because these robots one's clearly trying to get married, and look at the ones in the background. It's like, see, she's proposing. I get over here and hold my hand, and she's like, "No, let's walk separate aisles. They don't think we're together."
So,
all right,
okay, yeah,
next,
I think we're good.
So, yes, if it got there, yes, it could do better. So far, we're yeses.
Yep.
Public services. I mean, I'd feel much better. We're talking about responsible for providing essential public services, education, healthcare, transportation infrastructure, and utilities to meet the needs of population. Utilities we touched on a previous video with nuclear being solved. That technically it hasn't yet, but I'd how long until we do solve that. Or a solar farm, a part of Utah or Arizona that's just desert would power the United States.
Yeah.
So we just need the batteries to store it during night. I think that gets solved, and that just eventually kind of solves itself, unless they want to continue charging for it. Healthcare. What I'm hoping for is a fair world where if I have a robot, this is what I don't get. Like, my Tesla bot can do my laundry. Would I really be worried if my Tesla bot had the physical ability to walk to my neighbor's house and do his laundry while I was at work? What would that really mean for me? It would mean literally nothing.
Right.
I would still leave. I would come, I guess, whatever job I have, I would leave. I would come back, and my clothes would still be washed, folded, put up. My neighbors would too. I would have just done something good. And nothing changes. So there's no need to hoard this stuff, which is my biggest fear that we will. And we will keep this from the poor. But as technology gets cheaper and more efficient, you think that would just start to spread out. And I think that might just be a dream world. So I know I'm a yes on this one, but I am interested in your thoughts.
Yeah, so I'm with you, right? I'm like, I want to see the utopia, right? I want to see us develop this so that we can share this throughout the world, because I think it solves a lot of problems. So I'm with you on that one, right? It's just a question: are we going to be able to do that? And I don't know, but healthcare, providing infrastructure, education, absolutely. I think it's going to blow any kind of current teaching system that we have now out of the water. I mean, I think every country in the world has problems with their education,
right?
Us included. So I think
we're not even high on the ranks. We're embarrassingly low for the world we live in. First world country. Yeah, we are. We suck.
I mean, so just write them off. Education, yes. Healthcare, I think they'll be able to take over. Mm-hmm. Transportation, it's pretty much already in the works. The last one there is utilities. And I think
I'm stuck on that one because of how much money oil makes now. And I don't think oil money is going to go away. I think they're going to transition and still control the money. As long as money is still a thing, what I'm hoping to in all of this, and this is what really creates the utopia versus dystopia, because we talked about, and anybody watching this now, we already have a video dedicated just to education. And then before that was a video on UBI, Universal Basic Income. Now, in a world right now, money, we're so driven by money because of what it means, that if you just started printing money like that, technically inflation would be a giant problem. But if you just create money as a barter system, and that's all it is, here's your money, do with it what you want. Everyone has the same amount. Depending on how that circulates, we would need new money policies before anyone talks about from $2,000 a month to $2,500 a month. In theory, you should never have to raise it. So I think. No, please stop. Sorry. Okay. I've way too many computers. Can you hear the whichever one of my computers is talking to me?
Yeah, something.
I don't know if people think I'm crazy, but
so here's where I'm at. So all the rest of them are okay. Utilities, I think we're going to get to the point, and I agree with you that I think the oil companies are going to fight like hell to keep things status quo, as most things. Everyone's going to. I mean, government. Everyone's going to try to keep things status quo as hard as possible, but the systems are going to start breaking down, and as energy, the cost of energy basically goes to zero, because right now you can buy a solar panel cheaper than a piece of plywood.
Right.
As the energy costs go to zero, there's no way. Like, it's just eventually those old systems are going to collapse.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm a yes on this one.
I am, but I have a hard time seeing that come to fruition. I'm like a 7 on the yes scale.
Okay.
Because a 5, yes, 2 points because I'm hopeful. 3 is like, nah. I know how companies work. I know how greed works. I know how money works right now. We have to change the money system. Then yes, but also let's talk about the boats that are pulling up to the building. Right here, we got roads. Right now, clearly somebody just traveled back in the past because they won the lottery numbers. We got this bus that clearly finagled its way in through these street lights. Or maybe it floated. Maybe it landed. We can give it that. Yep. We're going to talk about this giant shark fin head. Well, this kind of looks weird. Let's talk about the speedboat right here that pulled up in the puddle. And now I don't know if this puddle was put there to sell boats for a vacation. This could be a vacation mall. But these people clearly don't care, or we have invented some pretty awesome shoes because they're waterproof. They're all wearing, waterproof leggings and shoes because I'm not comfortable with wet socks. And apparently in this future world, we're going to install puddles. We're going to take boats on test drives, just like a skating rink. And things are going to be just bright. They're going to be great.
It's not without its flaws right now. It's got some learning and work to do, but it's getting there.
I think that's what these people are thinking. Do we crash into that? Do we teleport, or do we just jump into here?
They're going to jump into the 2 inches of water right there.
If there was a building fire, think of how easy it would be to have a robot run back and forth with a bucket of water. What was the Mickey Mouse movie? Fantasia. Just get the buckets out. Like, they would just be doing that, bringing the buckets in and put the fire out.
Yep.
This is pretty smart. AI is just one step ahead. We're going to start installing puddles. Just as important as buildings. All right. Social welfare. Yeah. Ooh, holograms versus robots. Which one would you rather talk to? Okay, so many governments have social welfare programs aimed at providing assistance to those in need, such as unemployment benefits, food assistance, and housing and support. Let me say real quick before we get into this, watch the first video we put out, universal basic income versus universal basic services, because that will be the much more of a deep dive, because that's where this is heading. Because, again, where everything is leading, if what's the term? Permanent unemployment status.
Yeah.
You have no skill a robot can't do. At that point, you are basically rendered worthless in the economy. Yeah. So you are retired, effective immediately. I think in the transition period, I don't think robots actually have a place for this right here. I think this goes away.
Yeah, not yet. It's going to take some time.
Well, I think this is only here for the transition. I think there's going to be the sudden shock in unemployment they kick off stimulus. They kick off some kind of let's just keep these people afloat while we figure out what the heck is going on. What just got dropped on us? Yeah. We were not prepared. And then I think, we have the welfare programs now. They might need some help with the bandwidth, I think. But I think this one kind of solves itself.
Yeah, I agree. This one's not an if. This one, or not an if. This one is, it's coming regardless, whatever people think, and it's going to be run by AI at some point. That's kind of my thoughts.
Yeah. Or AI will definitely affect it. In a dream world, this goes away. It's UBI, and everyone can buy whatever food they want because who's getting hurt making it? The transition period. I think by the time we transition, there's no need for welfare. And I think by the time we're having those conversations, this is just in a complete shock.
Yeah, this will be replaced by UBI and UBS.
Yeah, I think this one leapfrogs, and we don't have to worry about this.
Yeah, I agree.
I'm just trying to see what's going on here. So far, I've liked. And this guy looks like he's like, I saw these old people do this at a casino. They sit in front of the screen for hours, and he's just trying to figure out why humans sit in front of a screen for hours, and he's curious where the lever is. This lady probably just
I like
that one.
I like the robot walking the kid robot. Like, when did they start populate or procreating?
Well, that's a little person. Okay, where they're different. Now we imagine a little person. What's the appropriate word? No, I say the M word anymore. But cool, where there's already a bunch of tall people, and now we just make a bunch more tall people. They want to look at something eye to eye. That's a little person.
So that's a robot for a little person. Okay, I got it.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm with
you.
Yeah,
why couldn't there be? Is midget bad? Is that a bad word? I don't want to. If it is, I need somebody to let me know in the comments. Are we supposed to call them little people?
I think so.
How cool would a little robot like that be? One for your kid. I think there's a movie about that. Is it Meg? But she turns to let's try to kill people in there. I will disassemble a robot faster than that thing could think. And you know how fast robots can think. Like if it's you're gonna do what? No, get out of here. You're a toaster in 30 minutes. Like that's it. But little companion robots for kids.
Yeah.
There's gonna be a whole workspace or what's the word I'm looking for? A whole market for little robots.
Yeah, okay. I'm with you.
And in the adult industry, I think it's going to be a thing. All right. I don't piss her off. If she steps on you in some weird fetish, you get knifed. That's all there is. Without even reading this, I feel like this is the new world government. They're like, okay, so we own this. At one point, these were all red. They're like, okay, we own this now. We owned Africa. Okay, we've owned most of this. We got Russia finally. Okay, guys, we're at 100% global ownership. Now what do we do? He's like, great, we're all going to get raises. And these two are probably about to get fired. And this is like a Jason Statham over here, keeping documents like who's the court writer? Just taking notes.
Oh, the court reporter?
Yeah. And I saw this earlier. There's only 3 legs here, so you don't want to lean left or right too much. It's a good thing they're on a glass floor because these wheels are pretty small. Probably not going to put up with a lot of carpet or anything. And your eyes would be sore.
Well, don't go down that rabbit hole too far. We're here for a purpose.
Just look at how much light is in this room right now. The floor needs to be powered. The desk needs to be powered. These wall panels need to be powered. The part that's not a wall panel is still a panel of lights, needs to be powered. And your 3-ton ceiling on top of you also needs to be powered. This thing is putting out heat like no one's business.
No, it's LED and power's free at that point.
I don't know. This is an electrician's nightmare. I think that's what's coming. Okay, diplomacy and foreign relations. I actually think this goes away.
Yeah.
Because once we can all translate, okay, I know you and I both have iPhones because we're superior and our texts are blue. But did you see the new Samsung phone that's coming out?
I did.
So
the translation feature of that is just out of this world.
It makes me hate Apple. I'm beginning to hate Apple not because I don't like Apple, because why is Apple not talking about this? Neither here nor there. But for the people that haven't seen that, real-time translation. So when you're on the phone, it will literally, I can call anybody. You ever call somebody overseas and you're like, your broken English sucks? Imagine talking in their native language without even having to ask them. They could just be doing it. You'll hear them speak it. And then right after that, the AI translation comes in a similar voice. And then as you talk English back, it breaks it down in their language.
Yeah. And not just in a similar voice, their voice.
Yeah. I think that's insane. And that's why I think foreign relations right now, it's such there's such a divide. And this is why I say people don't want me as president, because I would take over the world. It would just be Earth, AKA the United States. There'd be 200 stars on the flag. It would all be United States. There'd just be 200 of them instead of 50. And there would be no more import tax. You're just shipping it further than, from one state to the next. And I think AI gets us there anyway.
Yeah.
because it'd be such an even playing field across the board. There's no more language barriers. We've got efficiency in travel. So with all of that, I think I do think resources get shared because they're just going to work themselves down. Like energy is a big one.
Mhm.
Canada basically runs on oil and maple syrup. That is their economy. And once we knock out the need for oil, then what do they need? Like that's gonna be such a big one that countries battle. We went to literal war over oil. Just think once that's solved, what other crap is there to fight about? I think things get a whole lot better. And I don't think AI helps this. I think AI just kind of solves this. And then this one kind of goes away. Because
Yeah,
international, we didn't read this one, did we? So engage in diplomacy and international relations to maintain peaceful relationships with other nations, negotiate trade agreements, and protect national interests abroad. Yeah, what trade agreements are we even going to have? We all have chips. We have access to our own stuff. Um, I guess I can see a world where we keep our own stuff and
I can see a period, like say for the next let's say 5 to 10 years, where people are still trying to hold on to the old ways.
Yeah.
I see AI helping, in our favor for trade agreements and all kinds of stuff, right? But like you said, once all these things, and I say things like all these systems that we have currently in place that supports the old way of doing things, once they start breaking down, I think countries and international lines and all that starts breaking down as well. Kind of like what you're saying, and just like there'll be no need for this because we'll start to realize we're all human, we're all on the one planet, and AI is going to take care of all of us pretty much.
Yeah. And once we can put that workload on the robot, which is essentially what we're talking about and what's going on, that relieves a lot of stresses on everyone, both humans and countries.
Yeah.
All right. So we've talked about this lady is obviously an assassin. That's her coworker. These guys look old, so they're probably Congress right now. We know Congress doesn't age. They're all about 160 years old anyway.
That's right. And those are just the aids. Those are just the aids on the side.
Yeah. Do you guys know what's about to happen here? This is our top assassin. These guys know. They're like, these old guys have no idea. Yeah, this is going to get weird. Very weird. All right. This looks more like a Terminator scene. Like, look at these little humans. This will be Earth. This will be Earth 2. We're going to just mega-sized robots actually running everything. You guys thought the Earth was flat. Joke's on you. The Earth is a marble inside a room, and there's a bunch of robots just getting ready to play croquet. Is it croquet? Croquet, yeah. Anyway, they're about to just knock us all around. Things are going to get weird. Yeah, it turns out there's 4 more Earths on top of that.
Yeah, it was the best I could do on that one.
I like these setups, though. I need this many monitors. There's at least 13 here and 3 on top. I like this. This one's controlling the weather. This one's controlling war. This one's like, I'm about to bring in an ice age. Watch this. Yeah, robots don't need to sit anymore.
No, they don't need a monitor. They don't need to sit. Like it's interesting how you can see
this.
It's interesting to see the human influence on this.
Yeah,
right.
Because everything that's on these screens would be inside this neural process, like the neural network.
There's no need for screens. There's no it's very interesting.
Yeah, a robot could literally sit in darkness in a closet and do all of this work by itself. Yeah. Old Faithful. Right there. They wanted to preserve that one. Or maybe they're making a new volcano. They're like, hey, let's put up a new Hawaii right here. That was a big hit. Okay. Protection of the common good, which they might decide is Mother Nature. Understandable. And that's why they're building a new Hawaii. This is probably us humans out here just on our own little tiny island. Leave the grass alone. Okay. They have a role in regulating environmental practices to protect natural resources, green spaces, address environmental challenges such as pollution, and climate change. In some cases, governments may have a role in preserving cultural heritage, historical sites, and traditions. I need the robots to hear that again. Cultural heritage. Humans. We're going to call that human life right now. I just want to sleep, eat, wake up, hang out. I don't want to have to go to war with robots. Please. Call the United States a historical site. Just leave it alone. What do you think about this?
Could it do it? Absolutely. I think this is one of those ones where I don't think we're going to have to worry about it anymore, because as kind of what we're saying, as needs are provided for, and hopefully greed starts to go like the dodo. The need for destroying habitat and all that kind of goes away. That's what I'm hoping for. But I think AI could absolutely do this, and I think an AI would actually understand why we need to do this, right? Because we humans breathe air, and oxygen is created by plants. So like we can't just go nuts and start killing all the rainforests and everything. So,
but you know what oxygen does do?
Oxidize robots.
Yeah, create rust.
Yeah,
they're not a part of that. Okay, they're not liking that idea. Maybe they do like global warming. Maybe they want to live on Mars. Maybe that's why Elon needs to create the Mars mission. Just be efficient with it. Robots come that way, like, hey, we agree with you. We're going to ship you guys off to Mars. You can come take us over later. The one piece I want to put out here, and why I know humans are stupid. So in California, the smog is so thick you can barely see the Hollywood sign.
Yeah.
During the Rona, when everything was shut down, the fog cleared, and you could see it crystal clear. In China, they sell literal bottles of air. It's like a water bottle with a mask on it, and you get to breathe some fresh air for that little breath, your little lung capacity right there, whatever's in that bottle. That's it. That's how bad the pollution is. And during the Rona, all of that cleared up. Coincidentally, when no cars are on the road for a little bit. And I've never been, I kind of remain neutral on the whole global warming, just because I don't know if we're going through a phase. Is it really global warming? That's way above my pay grade to even make that call. So I've kind of just been neutral. I hope somebody makes the right decision, but I'm on the ride regardless. But when you see that, the report of what it looked like, and then what it looked like after all the cars were off the road after literally a week, like we should have never let cars back on the road after that point. I do kind of care about the planet. I mean, I live here, but if I was in California, I'd go around slashing everyone's tires. I'm like, no, oh my God, we're gonna stop this right now. Like I want to breathe. That air smelled good. And now you guys are back on the road. Takes me forever to get somewhere. I don't like you anyway. Yeah, I'm thinking a 45 to everyone's engine block and slash the tires, and you just go one neighborhood to the next. Ambulances, you get to leave those alone. Everything else, good luck. Hope you got a work from home job. It's in California anyway. Like how much more proof do people need on that one? Like I don't want to sound like the one really pushing that, but when I saw that, I was like, well, what is going on here? Are people really are that stupid?
Yeah.
So I do wonder. Robots should be able to. That should be one of the most basic things they could see coming and have a solution for. I think.
Yeah.
So anyway, yeah, I guess robots could do that.
Yeah, I think they can enforce this pretty well.
This guy better not ever. If this guy gets created, I don't trust a single robot. They've been deceiving us all. It's time to bring that thing down. Remember what they did in Star Wars, people? You wrap the legs. Don't let it walk. Push it over.
That's right.
And then take it apart. Everyone gets a toaster. Oprah Winfrey style. Check under your seats. Was that the last slide? Okay, so robots can do everything.
I believe they can. And you say robots, but the robots and AI.
Everything, computer systems.
Yeah, I think they can.
It just feels weird.
It
Maybe
does.
It's because I just don't like change, and then I think that's probably where it comes at the core. Is if you're just not comfortable with change, you're going to really hate this. You're going to reject the idea. You're probably not even watching this video, to be honest. There's no way they made it to the end. If they're a person that doesn't like change and doesn't have an open mind, and they're like an ostrich, just with their head in the sand. So congrats to everybody that made it this far. Actually, let me know in the comments down below if you made it this far, because then I just know you did. You at least heard my whatever you want to call them. You can call them stupid thoughts if you want. You at least heard them this far. I appreciate that. And I'll be sure to pass on to this robot when he gets made. Hey, listen, I'm going to stop you, but not right away. And I will be happy to point you in the right direction as to where I will not interfere with your jobs, your whatever you want to do. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm not that guy. I'm definitely not a superhero. If I saw the first zombie, I'm going to lead him somewhere first before I, I want to make sure this thing is planted in there for a little bit, lead him to a Walmart or something. Let him good old concert, some music I don't like. Yeah. Yeah, that's where I'd be. We could probably do without a few. And if you made it this far, I do need to know, so I know not to direct them your way. I thought this was an actual rifle down here on this monitor. I was like, no, this one's definitely in charge of war. Sure. Okay, I can't wait to live on one of these little planets and look up in the sky and see this thing staring at me. All right, so we've been going an hour. That's our longer one.
Yeah, that's okay. It was a good one.
You feel comfortable with robots? We're just gonna call it robots for short. Completely taking over our government like that.
I think eventually, yeah.
They're gonna have to ease that one in on me, I think. Which I don't think they're gonna just overnight it be like, hey,
no,
here's Captain Circuit. He's gonna take over everything from now.
No, but I really like the idea of
Megatron
eliminating the
humans,
the greed and the biases and all the unfairness that's built into our systems today.
Okay. Yeah. Unfortunately, that's what I'm most excited for them to get rid of. I think that's the last thing they get rid of because of how powerful greed is and how we've put Congress on a pedestal. It was supposed to be a voting system, and it quickly became we can abuse the power this way. It's become our way of things for so long that we've just accepted it. I mean, Congress can literally spit in your face and then they can just tell you, no, that was just rain. And people are like, oh, I guess it's just rain. That's kind of how dumb the public is. There's so many cases like that too. And it's like, that was the worst thing about me getting into stocks is seeing how blatantly obvious that is.
Yeah.
First couple of times, like, okay, coincidence. And after that, you're like, are you serious? And people fall for this crap, huh? Yeah. And they just start looking at people differently.
Yeah. I think they can. And I think they will eventually. But it's going to be kicking and screaming by people to not let it happen, for sure.
Yeah. Yeah, I think we got to slowly change their minds.
Yeah.
But I just want everyone to know that I do like a traditional laptop, even if it's dual screen front and back. I don't like the flat one like this where everyone can see my work. And these two people clearly used to message each other back and forth and not paying attention. So they got the flat screens. They got we all need to see your work now. They were sharing it.
Are the backside of those monitors the same as the front? So like no matter where you are, you're whatever you're typing, everyone sees everyone's typing.
The first thing I'm doing is figuring out a way around that. So it looks like I'm working and paying attention, but really I'm playing like Pong or something or Tetris. So I don't trust these robots. I think these two figured it out first. They're like, okay, we put that system in place for a reason. You can't just go around it. And that's why he's like, well, F this place then. We're just tired of it. Or this is the new world order. And they're like, this is where the humans live. We're going to exterminate them. And he's got a pretty deceiving look on his face. I don't trust this robot. This one is way too on board. He's too excited. This one has some hesitations you can see, but he's on board anyway. This guy's just along for the ride. This is clearly the mom of the group, but it's like, yeah, I'm down. These two we already know. They've already shared some inappropriate stuff. These other ones, they look like they're just conforming. I don't trust them.
Those two in the front, not the center one, down below. Yeah, not that guy. Those two, they're leaning forward, like they're paying attention. Like, okay, are we doing this? Are we doing this? Are we taking them out?
Yeah, I think he's the other head of the table. And these two are like we're on board, but I think this is a trio right here.
Okay.
He's like, okay, that's what he's saying. We're going to, but then they're staging a coup. They're going to eliminate the humans, and then the head robot, and he's going to be the head robot because, as humans, we taught them how to do that. And these are their plots on how efficiently it would be to just release a bioweapon. How fastly it would grow with just natural wind patterns over here. This is how their DNA would change when we start to absorb the dust that they're putting out. Yeah. No, this is not a good scene. They at least have a pretty decent choice in chairs. These chairs look pretty comfortable. They look like they can roll easy. I can rock back and forth a bit without flipping over. Got nice wheels on there so they don't get stuck in these cracks. The floor doesn't light up, so that's kind of cool. I guess kind of over here. Maybe that's just reflection. I don't like this one. No, I would eliminate this right here. This is where I'd be an extremist. There's 3 pounds of angry Play-Doh right below this desk, and I'm about to charge it. Actually, I'm going to tap into this desk, so when it turns on, the angry Play-Doh ignites, and then out of here. Hopefully, they blow up a different color each, so it looks cool on my end. Nothing about this one looks. It's just this guy's face. I don't like this guy's face. No, I'm not having it.
Well, that was a fun tangent.
Well, I figure we've gone over all the pictures. I kind of want to start doing that now on the slides, breaking down the AI stuff, just to see what subliminal messages AI is giving us right now, which is going to be an interesting video we go over on Roko's basilisk.
Yeah, that's coming
First
up.
of all, that's an AI term for sure, because no human came up with that word. That's even hard to say.
No, I'll explain the whole thing.
Oh, it's got a meaning to it?
Roko was a person.
Okay. Was he off his meds, maybe? Or maybe forget a couple days?
Yeah, we'll go through the whole thing.
Okay. We do have a video of that coming up, but the one thing we haven't touched on is a religion/cult. And that's kind of what this place is. Holy crap, I just realized something. These guys, this trio, they do not like humans at all. Because clearly we clipped this guy's legs and took this guy's one of their legs and one of the. Clearly there was an IED involved, and this guy was in the middle. These two were following and blew off his legs and one leg apiece because someone didn't use the right mixture, the right compound, and it did not pan out. So that's why they're eager. Like, you know what we should do? Rip all their left legs off first, and then let them hobble around, and then we'll release the bioweapon. Oh, man. Stop making IEDs for robots. They're better at it than we are. That's the lesson from today's video is watch out for the one-legged robot. He's not happy. And he's not happy that his friends are missing legs. It all makes sense now.
Jesus.
These guys are missing a hand. Oh, God. They're like, hey, we were with that person. That's why they got the flat monitors. They can't do 2 monitors at once. They only got one hand. One hand, one screen. These poor guys. Well, that sucks. Let's wrap it up here before these guys decide to kill us first.
Yep.
All right. So, mate, we've asked plenty of questions. If you made it this far, I definitely need to know. I'm interested to hear everyone's thoughts in the comments. And I will see you guys. We'll both see you guys in the next one. Have a good one.